brother with some dreadlocks. Put some ice on her neck, it like a headlock. I bet the price that they pay for the paycheck. If they pay less, we gon' be on say less. In a thrift shirt, looking like a new tee. I be on Bruce Lee, baby, in my blue jeans. If you tryna see me, then you better come and get me. Get it like a hippie since the Cassie dated this. They say that she too young, boy, yeah, she don't know. I bet a Uber of them pull up to the front door. She turning 23, she Jordan with the Levi. Honey bee saw me how to make a beeline. On a knee high, running on a knee high. Ever since the T-line, running back. Baby, what like, I'ma order that. 10 times, that's a summer stack. Summer stack, to the somersault. If I start to slur, that my brother fault. If they start to chat, then it's time to leave. They ain't going nowhere, man, they on the lease. Mona Lisa, you can call me up. All these skis toy around like a Tonka truck. Hit the beat, hit the Jeep, we can back it up. Hey, we can back it up. I'm a cool young brother with some dreadlocks. Put some ice on her neck, it like a headlock. I bet the price that they pay for the paycheck. If they pay less, we gon' be on say less. In a thrift shirt, looking like a new tee.
Welcome back to another episode of Opinionated Off Topic. Today we got a very, very, very special guest. We got David Kuna Lakai in the building. Yes, sir. Make some noise. Make some noise.
Happy to be here.
Long overdue.
One of the most
I've been
important
waiting
people.
on this one for a minute.
Long overdue.
Glad we made it
Long
happen.
overdue.
Absolutely.
And I'll be honest, if you weren't there in the beginning,
Man,
I don't know
hey.
where we would have started off or where we would be. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, no, for real.
You've helped us out a lot for real. And it's just like this might be something small to you, but it was big to us, you know?
Just planting
Like,
some seeds. Y'all have the vision and everything. What I can do to help. You know what I'm saying?
We appreciate that. But yeah, long overdue. Glad we're finally here. Finally in action.
Right?
Finally get to do it. We've been talking about it for a minute now and finally got to link up.
Yeah, I finally got the link up, and it's just been crazy because I remember you were telling me about David when I was in school, I think. Just talking about getting the equipment and stuff. My senior year, you were like, all right, we got to start the podcast. So he told us to get these mics and these mixers and things like that. And it's just crazy to see it all come together, even like the logos at the beginning and all that stuff, bro. It's super dope.
One thing to clarify.
Go ahead.
I introduced myself by Kuna to literally everybody I know at this point.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's just like how far our relationship goes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anybody watching this is going to be like, Kuna, why they calling him David?
Yeah.
Well, Dave is my birth name, but it's Kuna Lakai to all y'all, except for family. So
For sure.
that's why it is.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of birth name, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you from? Where you started your wee boy ages?
Yeah. So born in Atlanta, Georgia. So did my thing as a Southern boy for a minute.
I did not know you're from.
I didn't either.
I thought
Really?
you were from.
Cali.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
ATL.
all right, so that's the thing. Like, I got that pretty boy AE, but at the same time, like, there's some more grit to it than like most Calis. I feel like. No offense to them peoples, but so born in Georgia. Parents are both like military folk, so like not in the military, but Army and Air Force brats. So Christian household. That's why I don't swear in my verses or anything like that. Just trying to make the people proud and family happy and all that type of stuff. Moved out to Cali when I was 13, and felt like I fit in. I feel like both cities and areas I grew up molded me into who I am today. Like, so I'm happy for both parts, but I don't feel like I really fit in either one of them. I feel like I was like a little more like, I don't even know how to call it, but like Austin is in the middle of California and Georgia geographically, and I also feel like culturally. So I feel like I fit here pretty well. It makes more sense to be here or whatever.
The vibe here is just
Is different for
It's
sure.
just different, yeah.
Right? It's like a creative, but it's like, I mean, there's some conservative aspects to it, but it's also like very liberal at the same time. So I feel like it's a cool place for me to drop roots because I feel like there's a lot of people I can relate to and like have real conversations with, and I feel like there's a lot going on in this city at the same time. But yeah, so I don't know, man.
moving from We'll get back to LA in a minute. Well, Cali in a minute. But moving from Cali to here, was it a big like culture shock, or was it? Because from what I've known, like Austin is very accepting of people, no matter who you are, what you look like, what you do. It's just in a very accepting place. That's just how we are.
Yeah.
Did you feel that, or is it a little bit different?
So I would say it was very easy to move to Austin, just because I don't know if you know. I'm from the Bay Area, so that's like the birthplace of the hippie movement. And if you spend a lot of time in Austin, you know there's a lot of hippie people out here, and like that's a whole part of the culture. So I think like that whole chill, like let's all just like love each other and like figure some things out type situation that Austin has. It's a very creative, artistic city. For that reason, I feel like it was an easy thing to like lean into, just because like there's just so many creatives doing creative things, and that's exactly what I moved here to do. Yeah. So I feel like Austin embraced me, and I embraced the city back.
That's dope. Taking it back to Cali, growing up there, before your Kuna came along, was there anything that you did before that? Like, did you play sports there? Were you just a normal person there? Like, how was that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess football was my first love. Yeah. So living in California, I won 2 state championships.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What side were you on?
From Northern California, yeah.
North side.
So
the CIA, right?
High School, we bleed green, you know what it is. But yeah, we got 2 state championships out there. Then went from there to University of Arizona, where I just, spent 4 years getting a business degree. Middle of sophomore year, missed the sport, so walked on the team, thank God. I had that type of talent and people backing me to train me, and just coaches along the way to like give me the fundamentals that like could take you to college, because young athletes, remember, the fundamentals will take you to college. Like if you focus on that, that will set you apart from talent a lot of the time. And so yeah, I mean, I was at University of Arizona playing football when I realized like my love for the sport isn't what it was, because like high school football and college football are 2 completely different things, and it became very business focused and less about like the love of the game. And so that was hard for me, being someone who was like invested to the emotional side of the sport. Like I loved fighting for my teammates. I love my teammates fighting for me, and I would do that day in, day out, workout wise, whatever it was. Like I had my people, they had me. And when I didn't see that reciprocation on the college side of it, I guess I unearthed what I was truly passionate about, which was music. So that's kind of where like the birth of Kuna came into play, was like when I was at U of A.
What position did you play football?
Cornerback.
Even at Arizona?
Even at Arizona, yeah. So I mean, I'm quick, I'm light on my feet, all those things. Okay. If I had been 20 pounds heavier, maybe I would have gone to the league, but
I feel you.
No place for a skinny boy in the D1 football.
Facts. So what did you play all 4 years football or no?
At U of A?
Yeah.
Nah.
So you walked on your sophomore year?
Yep, just played that year out, and left after that. Our team went to a bowl game, so that was a 16 or 17 week season, and I was like, bro,
long draining,
and I'm talking about like waking up at 5 a.m., hitting a workout, go to class, and definition of walk on, I had no scholarship, I wasn't getting paid for none of this, so it just like it didn't make sense to me. My overall grades were going down, so I was like, if I want to go to grad school, like of course it looks good to be on the football team, but like your GPA has to look a certain type of way as well. So I did the cost benefit analysis, and it didn't really make sense.
It's kind of not really off topic, but you're a prime example of like you got to wake up at 5 a.m., eat, go to class, and all that. When the NIL deal passed, were you a fan of that? Were you like, yeah, they deserve to be paid?
It's a full-time job. Like, if anything, just the opportunity cost. Like, as a student, you're spending all these hours already in class, so there's already a lot of time taken away from you to go and make money. So when you add sports on top of that, I think it's only fair to be some type of compensated for your time. And especially when you know that like you are putting work into an organization that is making money. So if the school wasn't profiting off of the sport, then it wouldn't matter. But like since these organizations are making millions of dollars off of literally the sweat I put in practice and workouts, it only makes sense. It's kind of how I looked at it.
Yeah.
How was like eating like there, and was it like, is it as bad as they kind of make it seem to be, or did you actually get fed like that?
I mean, yeah.
Shit,
see.
they do. They did.
Yeah,
not me.
Yeah, you
They did,
yo,
yeah.
we were eating good.
Any
good.
D1.
So I mean, I guess that was a fair type of compensation. We had a kitchen that was open. 12 to 14 hours a day. All you could eat: burger, pasta, tacos,
Steak and lobster. All that. Right?
You know, if you're a star player, they say that. For that, you know what I mean? Yeah. If
What were they
if
feeding
were getting
you, Cam?
Huh?
What were they feeding you? Lunchables?
Bruh, you don't even want to know. We had Sodexo.
What was it? Yeah,
and we had
Sodexo.
and that's what if people don't know what Sodexo is, that's what they feed people in the jail system. So
Did they really?
yeah, but there's like tiers of Sodexo.
You was out there,
because
like
like
I'm saying, you was in the penitentiary. Out
nah,
there,
they have like tiers of Sodexo. They have like jail Sodexo, and then they have like when we'd have catered events, they'd have Sodexo. I'd be like, damn, this is good, but we didn't get that all the time though. So
How much weight did you gain between like your freshman year to your senior year?
a lot, just because we had this coach named Coach Crawford. He played at Baylor, and he used to bring up. Did you have to weigh and stuff and make weight during camp? Did you do a camp?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, bruh. Yeah. When they get that scale out there, that was the worst thing ever, bro. Especially because like eating in the morning, bro. Like one time, drank a bunch of water, threw it up. Like you just had to make weight though. So
What happened if you didn't make weight?
you had to stay there until you made weight from the previous night. So whatever you weighed at dinner, you had to weigh that in the morning with Coach Crawford. Like after breakfast. Yeah, it was stupid.
That's new to me. I don't know
That's
anything
shit.
about that.
Hey, you didn't get hurt though. That's what it was for, prevent injuries and stuff.
Right.
So
Yeah, because his coach was like a D1. He played at Baylor.
Gotcha.
So I guess he knew his stuff.
Brought some
Y'all ain't get hurt.
nah,
Yeah.
he did. He knew his. He knew
Well, transition out of football, where you said you were like neglecting your love for music. When did you find out like that was like your actual love, or how'd you transition into that part of it?
So I started writing songs in high school. Like the very first song I ever wrote was asking a girl to prom in junior high. Like that's the first one I ever recorded and like sent to somebody to listen to. Terrible, worst song. I hope nobody ever hears it. But that like hearing myself on a mic at like 16, I was like, yo, I want to do this. And so from that point on, I was writing lyrics daily. And so 16 on, like that's just been like as normal of a habit as working out for me. And so I realized when I didn't want to go to football workouts, but I still wanted to write, that I was more passionate about this than I was that. So yeah, so I guess like I was on the bus riding to games, showing like my teammates beats that I had made or like raps that I had written. So it took me a while to accept that, like, cause it was so built into me coming from a competitive and sports household where like I think in sports you are rewarded for your successes more directly than you are in the field of music. So like if you try hard or if you train hard, you work with a good team, at the end of the season you have a playoffs and you can see how you compete against other people. In the realm of music, you can work, get better than all these people, and at the end of the day, the person who you're better than will still get recognized more than you. So there's like a hesitation in being like, this is really what I want to do and all of that type of thing. So all the emotions, but at the end of the day, like I knew I wanted to do music back when I was doing football, and it just took a while. It like rose like a pimple. I was like, you know what I mean? It's just like, I can't ignore that anymore.
Why do you think that is? Like, what in music makes it so hard for you to get recognized over somebody else? Is it more of like a marketing thing, or they just know somebody that you don't, or like how? Like why is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of factors that come into play. I think one of those things is like, I was reading this book about what's popular and why it's popular. And I think a lot of people are attracted to things that they know other people already like because it's hard to be a first adopter. So when you're trying to break through in music, people like you, all right, cool, they'll listen to your music in private. But until you have people sitting next to each other conversating about the fact that they love you, and then it becomes cool to listen to your music, that's when everything kind of takes a different turn. So it's doable. There's been career after career showing that it's possible.
Yeah.
But that's just like, I guess, the hard part about it, in a sense.
Yeah.
No, I understand that because it's just due to the fact that, like, I mean, I think a lot of us, everyone here, is like big hip hop heads, music heads, etc. But it is one of those things, like, for example, showing Carl's Trippie Redd for the first time, or like any of these like artists that were like on different sounds at the time. It was like hard to show other people that, because like I like this, but it's like it's not, or like mumble rap, like all that stuff was like not what people were listening to. So like being an artist and like even the way your music is, which we'll get into later, trying to expand that sound and not doing what everyone's doing. I already understand like that totally, just because
it's just a challenge.
Yeah, because you don't want to be like everyone else, and it's easy to make the same sound as someone, and to get that notoriety. But I don't know, the breakthrough isn't gonna feel as authentic when that happens if you do it like that. So
yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
True. It's true.
You have something?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. You said you were writing while you were playing football. Would you say that's like your favorite part of the process, or do you prefer making beats, or like what is your favorite part of the process of making music?
I think it's evolved over time. I think like back in that phase, I was scared of my own voice, but I still wanted to express myself through music. So while I was playing football, honestly, that was fear. Like, I didn't want anybody to know what I sounded like on a mic. I didn't want anybody to listen to what I had to say and be like, yo, that's whack. Like, don't do this. So I guess I was like kind of shielding and protecting myself in a way, kind of taking the Kanye approach in a sense of like, if I can produce good enough music, people will take me seriously. So I was just spending hours on hours on hours like making instrumentals, because I mean, I don't know how much you know about sports, but everybody loves to rap. So I was like, if I can make beats people will rap to, then they'll take me serious in the music. Mm-hmm. And I got to that point. So that's why I started showing people my beats, because people liked my beats. So, but the more after football, while I was spending time with the music, what I realized is I love music because it gives me an avenue to express myself. And I thought that I wanted to do it just sonically, but I realized that I am pretty good with a pen and actually saying what I feel, even though sometimes it gets abstract.
For sure.
Yeah. So hearing music now, and then you're saying people rap to the beats. Did you start off as a rapper, or did you make rapper type beats first? Because like if you hear music now, that's far from it.
Yeah. I don't know if I understood that question.
So like, when you first started making beats, were they more of rap beats? Because like now they're more of like a chill melodic beat.
Gotcha.
Because you said people on the bus will like start rapping to your beats.
Yeah.
So
did you start
like boom bap, like traditional, like just like drums and like
because I was saying, did you start off like
right.
would you say you started off as a rapper and then went to like more of a melodic person, or is it like?
Yeah. So I studied while I was making beats. I think I was making a lot of there's like a style in the Bay. So it was like a Bay style where I was using like a lot of synths and a lot of samples. I used a lot of soul samples and started in GarageBand, ended up in Logic. So started with the boom bap loops, ended up starting making my own drum patterns, but they were definitely like West Coast feels. I think if you listen to my beats or my more recent songs, I think those sound like professional versions of what I was trying to achieve.
Okay.
Like somebody had the same vision and feel that I was going for and made it happen. And I think that's kind of what the power of the internet is like you can come in contact with people that you never would really meet. But I think a lot of like the soul, but like hard 808s is something that's signature in the Bay. And I think somebody had been practicing that before I even like caught on to making beats, and it's been working. But yeah,
That's dope. How'd you introduce yourself as Kuna? How'd you come up with the name Kuna Lakai?
Man, I wish I remembered. So there's one person. There's one person in particular that I remember calling me Kuna first, and his name is Keenan Miller. That's my homie for life. We were roommates back in Arizona. I met at a party because he was just playing some of his beats, had a mic out because he's just one of those kids. Like, he just liked recording people and, like, seeing what things could do and be. So we were at a party. He played some of his beats. I freestyled a written. And he was like, yo, that's fire, da-da-da-da. We should work together. Ended up being, like, one of my best friends. And, like, I remember him being the first one to call me Kuna. Kuna being short for Kuna Matata. Like, just some chill, wavy, forget about it, no worries. And I feel like that's kind of a mantra that I've taken on. But yeah, and then the last name Lakai, it was God given while I was in Hawaii. I was chilling on the beach. I believe it was Maui.
Maui's dope.
It just made sense at that time. Like, I don't even know where I heard it from. We were riding in the car. I remember it, like, riding back to our hotel, and it was like Lakai, and I was like, bet, yeah.
That's dope, because that's, I mean, sometimes it just sticks with you. Because,
Yeah.
like, when we came up with our name, I was just talking to somebody, and I just said the name, like, Opinionated. When I said it, it just felt right. It just stuck with me. I was like, Opinionated. I was like, I like that, because it took us forever to come up with the name.
I'm about to ask.
And then just talking to somebody, it's like Opinionated, and I was like,
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, like, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, true that.
Talking about like you becoming Kuna Lakai, what type of musical influence did you have growing up, like that helped make you who you are now?
Grew up in so I grew up in a Christian household. So if it had swear words, I couldn't listen to it until I got my own MP3 player in middle school. So I was listening to like a lot of gospel music, a lot of old soul music. So like a lot of Isley Brothers, Temptations, Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass, all that. And then I have two older sisters, so listen to a lot of Lauryn Hill. And me personally, I got really attached to like Outkast, that style. Kanye, of course, I keep mentioning his name. And then like old Kanye, we gotta talk about like late registration Kanye. I gotta set the record straight because a lot of people are gonna hate on me for being a Kanye fan. I saw a meme saying like number one red flag right now is being a fan of Kanye. So I had to
I feel like that's ignorant.
It is kind of ignorant. Like, that man did a lot of great things. Is still doing a lot of great things, and history will never forget him.
He's a genius.
He's just marketing. That's what I tell him.
He's definitely a staple in the culture.
I tell everyone he's just marketing.
100%.
I mean, he says it all the time. No other artist has the run that he's had. Like his first 5 projects are all classics.
Oh yeah, all the time, bro.
Yeah. And then besides that, Tribe Called Quest has to be on the list.
That's nice.
Who else? Random, but not so random. I feel like people don't really give Kurt Cobain as much credit as he kind of deserves with that "Drink in My Cup" song. Like, he kind of changed the radio in a lot of ways.
It did.
Like, that sound, like, I listen to some of my stuff and I'm like, yo, that's still kind of birthed from that feel.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, not what he's saying or anything, but just like the style.
No,
of the song.
it's super like, yeah, it's like right around music.
It's just a vibe.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's that
exactly.
part. Yeah,
it's
and
nice.
then, you know, Drake and J. Cole, I look at who I consider to be the greats and try to study from them. So both of those two artists, like, I know a lot of their lyrics. I know a lot of their hooks. I study, like, how they end their bars, like why they move from that rhyme scheme to that rhyme scheme there instead of opposed to there. What's too long of a rhyme scheme, all of that type of situation. So, but yeah, I guess, I mean, the names that I had named were just a few of who I listened to. But
Yeah.
I remember. Oh, go ahead.
No. Well, I was gonna go ahead.
Well, I was just say just a memory that we had together. We were in Dungeon Bar working together. So the way Dave and I met was at Top Golf when he just moved here from Cali, and then just became cool since. But you were just finishing. What were you finishing?
Bro, first of all, you were rude when I first met you.
What?
Hey, that's what I did.
What did I do?
I didn't hear about
the door
this.
real quick. No, I'm not. I mean,
No, go ahead. What did I do?
No, you're just the type of person to like. You feel people out before you like really befriend them to a certain extent. You know what I mean? You're kind of like, and which is something I appreciate because I do the exact same thing. I feel people out. I want to see like what their ambitions are, like what they're going for before like, because I pride myself on not being friends with anybody fake. So like I put them through like an authentication test.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah,
did
yeah.
not
yeah.
say that right.
No, I get what
But
you're saying.
A
Yeah.
test of authenticity. There we go. That
Yeah,
sounds better.
yeah.
Something like that. But like, yeah, bro. I will never forget.
That's funny.
You were like
though.
one of those people who was like, "What's up, bro?" I was like,
Bro.
Hey, just keeping it real. You feel me?
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh.
No, back to the dungeon.
That's funny. That's the first time I got that. But no, we were in Dungeon Bar, and then you were writing. I don't know if you're writing I don't know if this was a time where you're dropping a single a week or you're finishing album. I can't remember. But you're like, I was like, look, dude, listen to the new J. Cole that came out, because I think this is when Revenge of the Dreamers 3 came out, and you're like, I can't, like, I'm in my writing mode. I don't like to listen to music when I'm in my writing mode. So we're in Dungeon Bar, and you're making something, and I was like, dude, listen to the new J. Cole. Like, I can't, because when I'm doing a project, I don't like to listen to other music, and because the reason I'm bringing this up, because you pointed out, like, I can tell when they do this, this, and this, and this, and I didn't notice it till you said it, but it was the very last song on Revenge of the Dreamers 3, just the regular version. J. Cole's last part on Sacrifices, like, he starts off like a chill rap, and he goes to like flowing, then he goes to like singing, and you're like, damn, he just did this, 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 and this all like that, and it just sounds smooth. And not many people can like point that out. Like, just not everybody has an ear for that.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
it's just crazy.
But see, this is another thing that I took from sports. Like, there's a difference between watching people play football and then studying film. So I listen to people like studying film. So I break apart every component of what they're doing. So I mean, again, something about music that I learned from sports. It just
No, I get you on that for sure.
Does that tie together a lot, like sports and like music?
I mean, I think it does. Like, I forgot who said it, but like, every artist wants to be a ball player, and every ball player wants to be an artist.
I
Like,
told him that.
yeah, and it's true.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
it's just like, I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's just like the competitive nature. And if hip hop didn't exist, I don't know how true it would be. It might be just something about hip hop that like the two just have a lot in common about. Like, if it was soul or jazz, I don't know if it would be the same story.
Yeah,
But
that might
Do you
be
think
like
you have an advantage over other artists being that you played at a collegiate level, and the things that taught you to become the artist you are now?
Yeah, just off work ethic alone. Like, I have a very Kobe mentality to how I write music. Like, I'm like, y'all might be better than me on this one song, or you might have songs that are better than any song that you've heard from me, but I guarantee you no artist will spend more time writing music or in the studio than me. And that's something I take very serious, is like outworking people. Like, there's not a single artist I met in Austin that writes more than me. There's not a single artist I've met personally that writes more than me. So that's something I take pride in, and I think that's something that I learned from playing college sports. Is like, I mean, at the end of the day, the chips fall where they lie, but I did everything I could, and no one's gonna be able to tell me different.
I feel that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Just with
Do you
this.
think you'll ever drop like an EP of just a bunch of the songs that you've written that haven't made the cut yet, or do you think?
I have to.
Like throwaways?
So it's so weird. It's getting to a point where it's almost uncomfortable to think about how much of my life that people will not hear if I don't put it out. Because I literally have 10 hours of recorded music that has never been released. So, I mean, you think 3 minutes a song, like what it takes to get to 10 hours.
That's insane.
So, like, I don't know. Like, I have to. Not everything that people will see, because, you know, that's like putting out every rep. But at the same time, like, I got to. And maybe it'll be when I'm established and I'm like proud of where I'm at and I know people know what I can do. I'll be like, hey, if you find some gems, like, here you go gold digging. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what it's going to look like. I do think that at the end of the day, I'll put 100 songs online at one time and say, like, for the people who really care, you might find some things that like nobody else will hear, but
For sure.
at least I'm not gonna die with it on my laptop.
So
Now, those 10 hours, do you think, or are those from like songs you wrote going through hardships, or like just like feel good vibes, or is it a good mix?
Yeah, it's the day to day. It's like all the vibes you go through just living as a person, like the celebrations, the mourning, the heartbreak, you know what I mean? Excited I just got a new job, like it's all of them. So
Do you is that like hard to like make collective projects? Like you record all this music, but then you got to like pick and choose. Like I want this on this project, or this is a certain sound. So like, how hard is that?
yeah, hard, honestly. Like because in any so as far as I've created songs, I haven't created any concept projects. Like I haven't started and been like, this is what I want to convey. I just write songs daily and be like, all right, that season I was working on music, what were the top 10, 12 songs on that out of that? And I put them on a project, and usually there's a commonality, there's a theme between them just because it was from the same time period.
Okay.
So it works. But cutting songs is a process in and of itself, and I typically like lean on other people and their ears for that, because you know
That
it's
is
kind of like
helpful.
aborting a child
Yeah.
every time you're like, that song's not gonna make it. So I don't let people tell me what should and shouldn't be on it. I just ask them what their favorites were. It's a different like phrasing, and it like helps me understand where different songs sit in the equation. But yeah, it's not easy to decide.
No, that's important, bro. Because I mean, just like you said, like going through that music, shifting through that music, I couldn't even fathom how like long that's gonna take. And then just too, like you said, you're writing stuff for different seasons, and that era too is important. Like I don't know, I couldn't, because I mean, you might think you're doing something that's nice or whatever because it's your music, you're gonna love it, or you're also your hardest critic too. But I mean, sometimes it is always good to, you know, people you trust to show them it, because if they really, you know, mess with you, they're gonna be honest about it.
Yeah, and that's the important part, right? Is keeping good people in your circle. Like, I don't want no yes man. Like, I want people who
exactly
tell me exactly what they're thinking. Like, that's it. That's not it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Now, have you gone with your gut against what people have said? Like, you know what? Like, even though I got this collective feedback, it's like, you know what? My gut says I need to put this on there.
I haven't had to do that. Okay. I mean, I'm not to say that there's gonna be a day where like I don't have to, but usually I feel like if I'm feeling really good about a song and I play it for somebody, they feel really good about it too. You know, I think. I mean, yeah. Maybe one day there's like something that's like super inspired, where there's like a message I want to get out or something like that, and it doesn't sound good enough sonically, but at the same time it has all the feel that I just had to get out, and I imagine that being the time that I would do something like that. But yeah, I haven't gone there.
Going back to because I for a while I've been meaning to ask you this question, but you answered it earlier. But you not cussing in the music, is that something that like you'll always do, or is that something just because that's what you grew up like not hearing it, and it's going to be more for everybody rather than a small portion?
Yeah, I mean, I can't sit here and pretend like I know what I'll forever do, but like as I am right now, I don't see that changing, just because of even from the business perspective, like the marketability of just like having songs that people can play with their 4-year-old in the car and not have to listen to the radio version. Like no matter where you go, I want people to know if they listen to Kuna Lakai, like they don't have to be uncomfortable about what they might hear, what da 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 da. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like good tunes that they can play in front of anybody, and I feel like that's something that I'm kind of founding my branding on. So I don't think it's something that would necessarily change.
How hard is that to make music? I know you've been like doing it for a while, not cursing, but like how hard is that to actually do?
Same question.
Honestly, it's not difficult anymore.
Okay.
But there are times where like, I mean, we swear for emphasis. Right?
Yeah.
So like,
exactly.
there are times where I just want to like, I can't. So I don't know. I like to think that it makes me be more creative with how I add the emphasis. But yeah, there's a level of frustration that comes into play sometimes.
I feel like it's definitely harder to make a song without cuss words than it is to make a song with cuss words.
100%. They can be used as fillers on any.
That's what I was telling CJ earlier, because I was trying to like introduce him to your music and like kind of just introduce him to who you were. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, bro, it's so easy to just. I mean, you listen to rap all the time. You know when someone was running out of like something to say on a bar, like they couldn't gather their thoughts, so you just throw something in there, right. Slang, curse, anything. Like it's just, it sounds good, but it like lyrically, like pen level, it's probably very easy. It's just like, oh, I just throw that in there real quick.
That part.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's like it always sounds good. It's like adding salt to like fries. Like it's gonna work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. For your last project is the first project that I've heard with somebody else on it. Is that something that you want to do more of in the future, or that you still want to stay away from, or you're just finally like, all right, I can get into the groove of having people on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just tough with other rappers. I think it comes down to like having a lot of pride with what I do, and almost like prideful to a fault in a lot of ways, and I'm working on that. But when it comes to song, like lyrical, melodic, that's the word. When I'm working with like melodic artists, like people who can add hums and like add dimension to like what it is I'm already doing, that's super easy for me to collaborate with, because I feel like they're just, bringing out all the things that I do and like kind of just adding wax and making it sparkle. But giving people creative freedom to just like go has been, I have trust issues to say, you know what I mean? And then it's something that I want to do. I think about Andre 3000 and what he was able to accomplish with Big Boy, and like what within individual songs having two different voices can do as far as like keeping people's interest and attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially.
Do you think it's more pride, or you think it's more like, because you said like you write like Kobe's mentality, and Kobe was like, I never passed the ball because I saw the work that other people put in and it wasn't to my standard. So you think it's more like that, or?
It's the same thing, exactly. But I think I think Kobe would have said that's pride too. And I think over the course of his career, he tried to practice better habits. I mean, Jordan liked to take the last shot every game, but sometimes Steve Kerr hit the game-winning three. You know what I'm saying? So I think it only makes me a stronger artist if I can learn to let go and work with other people.
And I think that's also how you liked Cole. That was like Cole's, like, people would say he never worked with anyone. He never was on features. He never gave people verses. And then that's when people were considering him like a boring artist. And then as soon as he started, getting on people's projects, or when he made like Revenge of the Dreamers and having all these collaborative people on songs, that's when people were like, oh, J. Cole's good, like blah, blah, because he's working with other people. So do you think like that kind of, like, have you like looked at his pathway and then seen like maybe how his trajectory changed when he started working with people?
Yeah, for sure. And like even the freedom that comes with like working with somebody else and them. Sorry.
You're good.
I mean, you just learn when you work with other people just through the process of collaboration. J. Cole, to your point, came up with like so many new and interesting flows when he opened up his mind to working with other people, because he was sitting in the studio and he was like, oh, that flow's crazy. Oh, I can use that flow and say all this too. Wow. And then I think that's when like the new wave started to adopt him a little bit more, is when he started working with new artists and realized like there's new ways and you can still get your point across. So yeah, absolutely.
If somebody was to jump on track, like a rapper was to jump on track with you beforehand, do you tell them not to cuss, or just let them do what they do?
That's one of the hardest reasons. That's one of the reasons it's hard for me to let people come on my tracks, is because of that. Is that if anybody were to be on my, I don't like limiting what people can and cannot say, but there are times I've asked people to change bars just to like make it, you know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely encourage the people that I work with to keep it family appropriate, but at the same time, when I'm working with somebody, I want them to be them and themselves. Yeah. So I mean, I think that's a dance that I'm learning how to work, in all honesty.
How would I guess your closest people, like your family, feel about it? Would they feel a type of way, of like, at the end of the day, it's like, it's music, it's what y'all do? Yeah,
I mean, I think my family at the end of the day knows who I am. They know my heart. They know what I'm about. So if they heard somebody else say something on a track or something, they'd be like, well, that's where that person is. That's not a reflection of who I am.
That's good.
And so, yeah, and especially as like my voice gets bigger, I would hope that I can give people a platform to share theirs. And if I'm giving somebody a platform to share their voice, I wouldn't want to be the person to say you can't say that, because that's the whole thing we're fighting against in the first place. So
What if you what if someone asked you to get on their track and like you're gonna perform how you normally do, but if they're cursing, doing whatever, does that either A, limit you from getting on their track, or would you get on it and then since it's not yours, that it doesn't really affect you that way? Like how's that go?
Yeah, I feel like I'm still very early J. Cole when it comes to that mentality. Like,
got you.
I'm very selective about the people I do a feature with, and like A, the person, and A, the track in particular.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Were you nervous to show your family your stuff, or were they like the very first people you were like, I just made this, like I want to show this to them?
Yeah, I will say I showed my sisters well before I showed my parents. Like, I haven't always been clean in my music, right? So like, as I've evolved as a person, I've had more things of quality or value to say. So the more that progresses, the more comfortable I am with sharing with my parents or anybody. But there was a long time where I would show my sisters and show my best friends, and like I remember it was at my birthday party, like I was at Chuck E. Cheese or something. I was having dinner with some people on my birthday, and one of my best friends told my parents that I rap. And I was like,
damn,
21, 22, and the conversation and everything, like the vibe, it was just so awkward, because I could see my dad's mind racing and all that. Because like, I mean, I went to a 4-year school for a business degree, so like, just hearing, I don't even know what that kind of shock would feel like if you invested all of this and like you have expectations for your kid. And like, I think and honestly, like, I think that relationship was harder between my father and I, letting him know, father, this is so weird, between my pops and I. It's interviews, bro, you say weird words. But yeah, between my pops and I. And I didn't really want to let him know that I was making music for a long time, even though I would have told my mom earlier, and I did tell them. But like, it ended up being on his birthday that I showed him the Pure music video, which is the first time he ever heard me on a song or any music of mine whatsoever. So,
by the way, if you haven't seen that video, y'all should go watch it. That
check
shit's fire.
Pure by
Fire.
Kuna Lakai.
I don't know why, but still to this day, it's like still my favorite song.
Me too.
It's still my favorite song, because like
I'm not scared, but
like you have other great songs, but there's just something about that song.
It feels so good. And a lot of ways, I think that was like God's way of saying you can do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, hold on to that, because like that's like proof of concept to a certain extent.
So you showed Pierre to your dad on his birthday.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
I could tell he was excited. Like, and I mean, if you've listened to Pierre, you know it's like new age, like R&B style.
It's vibey.
So like, I could tell, because my dad is a music head. Like, I told you all the music he put me on, like in our house. Like, I listened to all of his records. He does music, like that's what he's about. So I was proud of it, and I showed it to him, and he had a genuine reaction of like not anger, but like he was proud of what his son had done, and that felt good. And like, I think like since that moment of like watching me on screen and actually hearing me at the same time, he's like one, been more supportive, but two, like encouraged and like pushed me to keep working at it, and like even like to the point where he's like trying to make connections with people that he knows and things like that. So
Before you showed him that, and after you showed him it, did you have like stress built up about it? Like, was it weighing you down, and then you finally told him, you saw his reaction, like, damn, that felt good, and it like just took a weight off of you?
I mean, yeah, 100%. Like there was the nerves that come like pre-show, like anything like that. You know what I mean? You're excited about it, but you're also like, well, what if he doesn't take it right? You know what I mean? But at the same time, it was one of those things I had to do for myself as an artist. Like, him love it, him hate it. I had to like open up that door to prove to myself that I can take music seriously. Because if I can't show him, then how am I gonna show anybody else? So.
Now, have y'all always been close, or did that like bring y'all even closer?
I mean, it definitely brought us closer. We've always been close, though. Okay. So I think part of the reason it was hard for me to share with him is not because there was distance, but because we were close, and we had conversations about like what he had seen from me in my life, and like I don't know. It was just one of those situations. Like, I'm a smart kid. I had good grades in high school. Like, every trajectory was saying I should be like an engineer or a lawyer or something like that. So for me to tell him I wanted to do music was like, you know. So yeah.
It's just it's tough because it's like at the end of the day, your parents only want what's best for you.
Right.
But also at the end of the day, it's like you're your own person. You're gonna do what you want to do regardless. You know.
Yeah.
So that's like the tough part about it because like you want to make your parents happy and proud, but you also want to do what you want to do because this makes you happy and proud. And that's like it just sometimes it's hard finding that like median ground, and some parents rock with it, some don't.
100%. And I mean, Gary Vee wasn't popping at the time when all this was going down, but like one thing that I've heard him say, post or whatever, he was just talking about how like kids who end up doing what their parents want them to do just to like keep that relationship what they think it should be, end up building resentment towards their parents, and at the end of the day the relationship becomes unhealthy and not on right. So it's kind of like one of those pick your poisons. Like you can either feel caged and hate your parents, or you can go do what you want to do, or know that you not do what you want to do, but do what you know you should be doing, because there's a big difference between those two things right there. But
for sure. And on that note, I think Gary Vee even said the same thing. He was like, parents show us what the world is now, and kids show us what the world can be. Because, like, you have all these kids that want to be pro streamers, and that's actually a possibility now, you know?
Yeah.
And back 10, 20 years ago, that wasn't a possibility.
Absolutely.
And so for a lot of us to want to be creative, we were always told, like, nah, you're not going to make money being an artist. Like, you're going to be a starving artist. But the fact that that's a real possibility now is because that, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
people doing it.
everything now. Before, like when you said just creative entrepreneurs, like shit. Even 5 years ago, this wasn't like a thing. And it's like, like this, like you're not gonna go anywhere doing that. It's just you're just wasting your money, wasting your time. But like now, there's platforms for all this stuff. It's like a bigger platform for music, streamers, this, that, like you name it. There's just bigger platforms. It's crazy.
And too, like our parents are all like in that weird age. Like their parents were like grinders, you know, like maybe baby boomers, I don't know, but they were like, you know, just go to college, work, and then like they get taught that. But our generation, I mean, I talk about it all the time with Carlos, Albert, CJ, you, anybody that's doing creative stuff. Like the amount of people our age doing something very similar is like really cool, but also very eerie. Like it also is showing like the transition of us not working a regular job, us doing our own thing, us doing something that we want to do to make a living. So it's very possible. And like we're like the shifts, like the generation after us, it's going to be like super normal. It's already normal, but it's going to be like,
I mean, a lot of industries are dying, and content creation is becoming one of the most lucrative, like overnight it seems. But you know that acid, it in the textbooks is going to talk about the Industrial Revolution and what that did for like car production and all of that, and they're going to talk about the birth of the internet and what it did for industry and how it changed the economy and all that. And I feel like that's what we're kind of living through right now. It's like another industrial revolution in its own right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, yeah, you got like people talking about like Facebook changing their name to Meta, you know, and like everything that they're planning on doing. So like if the Industrial Revolution and then like the internet's birth was that crazy, like what is this gonna be like? And especially with us living through the pandemic, like that changes so much.
Absolutely.
Literally.
I'm kind of not concerned. I'm curious to see like what the social scene, or like how people end up socializing in the next 20 years, what that's going to look like. You know, it could be like some Ready Player One where we all just sit on our couches and meet at a bar but drink beer in our own living room.
I'm
like,
curious too,
know,
because
you know?
everything's going to just because
No, I
everything's
know,
going to
it's
like
crazy.
such a like a technology way, like a food menu. You start your car from a fucking app. Like, I mean, everything's just going like technology that way.
Crazy,
And so
right.
it's like with the metaverse, that's kind of what it is. It's like you just like you go and hang out with your friends, you know, and that like I wonder if that's gonna be like the norm of like
It is.
And that's even gonna add to a lot of industries dying. I mean, I think there's a Korean barbecue restaurant by airport that has like robots bring you the meat, like dead ass. It's like a little cart robot.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, dead ass.
Nah, that scared me.
You been there?
Yeah, K Barbecue.
Is it good?
It is. I mean, the robot is very dumb. Like, I mean, like a human being put the tray on the robot and told the robot what table to go to, and it's like bumping into things and it just sits there. Like, that's not what it's always gonna be. It's like, you know, it's infant stage, but
it's still crazy. Like, it can do that,
right?
And that's the scary part too.
Yeah. Also, it's for me, it's cool, but it's like I'm very like interactive. Like, I'm very social. Like, I don't want that aspect to die just because, like, it's convenient. And, you know, people are going to be like, oh, well, we can just meet online. Like, I'm like, no. Like, I'm an in-person kind of guy. Like, I don't want to talk to you through the internet if I can go to your house. Or, like, unless it's, like, I'm super far. But, like, I'm not trying to do that personally.
See, that's so weird for me because I'm so introverted. But I don't know how I feel about this new age.
It's still, like,
because
weird,
I still
though,
enjoy, like, social interaction.
Exactly.
But, like, I'd prefer being to myself. I don't know. I'm just so introverted. So I have mixed feelings on the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, bringing it back to music, it's kind of weird, and I'm excited, and I want to be on the front with the leading wave of people who start doing like online concerts. I think that's going to be a huge thing.
During COVID, that was crazy.
Yeah, like kind of like what Travis Scott was doing with
the Tiny Desk.
How do you
too.
feel about that?
virtual
Astro
concerts?
World. Well, just do you think what happened at Astro World will make virtual concerts more of a thing?
Ooh, I mean, it could. It's only a better reason to do it or like start working on it. I mean, I'm sure there's some leading minds that are already on top of that. If I've thought about it in my living room, somebody else is working on it.
Oh, for sure.
You know
For sure.
But yeah, and that's, I think, one of the craziest things about where we're going with the whole virtual and networking and socializing. I think it's going to be one of the biggest tools of persuasion they're going to use for us to adopt it is that it's safer than what we've been doing, and you stay away from whatever viruses are now out or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, how do you feel about that as artists then? Because like, if you're, I don't know if you've ever done it. I think you have, but have you've performed in front of a crowd? Doesn't you as an artist feed off the energy of the crowd though?
100%. At the same time, though, I'm sure they'll figure out a way for like the artist to have a visual representation of all the people that are listening, and they'll be able to like cue in, and they're going to do some type of feedback sensory. It's not going to be the same. Like performing in front of a stadium with 20,000 people, like that, whatever that would feel like, is you can't recreate that with a set of glasses. Like there's no way. But yeah. So I mean, yeah, that would be frustrating for me if they completely take that away.
Well, I think that works to your advantage more because of the type of brand you want to build, as far as being able to be played on Radio Disney and 102.3, you know, for the people in Austin. Because look at how many kids have access to Roblox and Fortnite versus not every single 12-year-old can go drive to Houston and go to Astro World. You know what I mean?
You're saying? I mean, yeah, it becomes more connected, but still disconnected at the same time.
Like you can
reach more people, but it's not as real of a connection at the same time. So
exactly, and a lot of artists, they live for like going on tour. They're like, oh, I can't wait to, like, they make songs like, I can't wait to perform this in front of people.
Like I want to see the world. Like
exactly.
Like how does that happen if I can do? Well, they prefer that I do everything from this one studio in LA. Like I want to go to Germany. I want to go to Moscow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah, like it's like cause they've both been to Astro World. I haven't been, but I just feel like if I was an artist on there, I just use Astro World because it's like one of the biggest festivals, if not the biggest festival that we've seen in recent years. Just if I was an artist there, or if I was Travis, just like hearing all that, just feeding off that energy all the time, it definitely gives you a different type of rush.
100%.
And then just like being in front of like a camera, and you're just like trying to get like
it's not gonna be the same at all.
You're just trying to like get crunk and you just can't.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
just not the same.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, even like getting a little off topic, but me and CJ went and saw Larry June, and like he was like, yeah, like he's like, I've been performing so much, and then like Austin, like y'all's energy like made me like want to finish out this tour strong. And because like a lot of artists, like they go on tour and they get exhausted and stuff, but a crowd in a certain city, you know, they might feed off that and it just re-energizes them, or they like might like, oh, I don't want to go record, or like the day-to-days we used to watch Logic like throw up and then go perform, like stuff like that. It's like, I don't know, like you just get that rush, like you're saying. You're not gonna get that. It's like you could be nervous, but you're like not gonna feel it, you know.
Yeah.
So
You listen to Larry?
Larry June?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, Larry.
up there, you know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Yeah.
I wish I went to his concert.
It was dope.
But there was other things that we had to do for Opinionated. But
What
Yeah,
rub it
I
in,
think
Cam?
Huh?
What to rub it in? You were like, it was dope. And
Well, I mean,
Carl's
Carl
over here like, damn. I wish
honestly,
I could've
Carl,
gone.
he I'm glad he did what he did because he had to do that. So
So since we're on the topic of it, how do you feel about shows? Do you like performing? Are you a performer person? Would you rather perform all the time, or like how do you go about that?
Yeah. I mean, I love shows.
Yeah.
Like all the emotions you just said, the adrenaline rush, all that. So I was doing more shows back in California than I've been doing in Austin, and I think that was one of the hardest things to accept because like out there I had opened up, I don't know if people know Bay Area rappers, but Keek the Sneak, he's like a Bay legend. I had opened up for him in Oakland, and like I was doing shows, selling tickets, all that type of thing, and then came here and felt like I was starting on ground zero. Austin is supportive of the arts, but at the same time there is a disparity in which genres a lot of the venues like to promote shows and like have host shows. So it's just hard. I feel like Austin hip hop is very clicked up, and even when you get on stage, a lot of the times you're not making a dime off of it. You're really just doing it to get your name out there, and that's something I've done. Like I've done some like cool crowds, like not getting paid for it, and I've kind of decided to invest my time differently since. Well, I guess really the pandemic made me like kind of reflect on what I was doing on that note and start focusing on ways that I could get either my own venue or my own shows and make the shows lucrative.
You were doing the open mics at what's that place
Scratch
called?
House?
Scratch House.
The
Yes.
OG. Also
Yeah.
nice to know it. Yup.
yeah, Scratch House.
You were doing open mics there, right?
Yeah, I was doing that for a while. Yup. Shout out Mike D, Weird City Kid. He put me on a lot of shows, a lot of bills. So performing for the Topgolf fam, but also just like a lot of Austin locals. Scratch House was a place where everybody networked and all that. So it's RIP at this point.
Yo, that's crazy
But-
because that's where I learned how to shoot nighttime photography. And like,
Scratch House?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
bro.
just go when they had open decks and just
See,
mess with the camera.
And so before I even worked at Topgolf, before I knew anybody in Austin, like I would just go to Scratch House, shake hands, like spit a verse or whatever. So I miss that place dearly, and I feel like there's not a place that's like that really in existence in Austin. Flamingo Cantina is a really cool place. They've been throwing a lot of hip hop shows lately, but you know it's so clicked up. Like people put on the people that not that they think are good, but the people who like will kind of associate with their clique
Or have that clout.
But it's not even like. I mean, it's not even clout based in my head, but like, you know, who am I thinking about? I'm not gonna say names.
Yeah, no, I get you.
But you know what I'm saying? A lot of people just are throwing shows not based off who they think are the best performers, but based off the people that they know, and they don't reach out to people that they think have talent. They just are trying to put people on stage because they know they're gonna sell anyway, and you might as well put your homies on. Like I get it, I 100% get it. But I'm just saying, the avenue, it's always gonna be challenging.
Do you know that person on West 6 that's always rapping? What is his name?
I do.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He's there, bro. Every time I'm down there, he's always there. Every
Yeah,
time.
I know.
Just rapping on the corner.
So I've done that too.
Yeah.
And it's the games are so minuscule.
Yeah, I was like, he
that
does
it's
this all the
bro, you're kind
time.
of wasting your time. I mean, I'm
Every
happy
weekend,
for him,
bro.
but you never know who you're gonna meet walking down the
Yeah.
street. So I'm not gonna knock nobody else's hustle. Like,
No.
he's out there. Like he's.
And
doing
I've
his
like
thing.
stopped and listened to it, but I'm just like, dang, like I just see, bro, he's out there he's been out there at least the last 2 years since I like been going out and stuff, and I see him
Yeah.
every time I'm down there.
Yeah.
And he's just rapping. And
Would
then
you
like
listen to him? Like,
yeah, he's
like,
good.
okay,
He's good, but like
hard.
it's just crazy because I'm just like, damn, this man's out here Friday, Saturday night, and then people are just walking past him, and he's just
Yeah.
doing that from like 8 to 2 or
Damn.
whatever the club hours are. He's just there, just doing that,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got like his name and like he has like tapes and stuff.
And that's one of the weird
So-
things I think about hip hop versus other genres is I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of people who like, I think it's called busking.
Mm-hmm.
Busking, like playing on the street and like putting a hat out. In other genres, like you can do covers, and so people will stop, know your song, listen to this song, and throw you $1, or like love your voice and like put you on YouTube. But when people are walking by and they've never heard the song before, they're like, "Oh, that was a cool tune," and they'll just keep walking. So it's a different fight.
Yeah.
Do you think the gains from that are so low because people just like they hear it but they just keep on walking? Like they're not there for that. They're there to go to the next bar.
I think that 100%. But also like I'm from San Francisco. Like I've seen a lot of street performers, and so I think there are elements of street performance that he's missing as far as like engaging with the people walking by, or like he could even plan a couple people, like have like 2 or 3 people pretending to listen to what he's doing that he just already knows, and try to get people to start collecting. So there are like little things that he could do that I think would like
Benefit
maybe,
him.
yeah, help him out a little bit. But what he's doing is very hard. That's a difficult thing to do. But he's getting stage practice. I'm sure he's getting a lot of feedback on like what songs people like, what they don't like. So there's not like no benefit to it. It's just like on my Saturdays, I'd rather be. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
he's just out there on a Saturday, and I don't know. Like if I was an artist making music, I'd prefer to be either in a studio or writing or making songs with other people than doing that, or just actually performing somewhere where people are going to come to the venue to listen to music.
Facts.
So I don't know.
100%.
What would it take for you to go on a tour?
What would it take? A budget?
Whether if it's yours, whether if it's yours or if it's, I don't know. It's like, do you listen
Like
to Mike?
opening up for someone.
Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Mike. That's the guy.
Bro, wait. Are you talking about like Mike period?
Yep.
Yeah.
He just dropped his new project.
The highs.
Bro, I've been listening.
Sounds good. Bro,
so
so
like
good.
I'm saying, like if it's yours or if it's just another artist, I just brought him up because y'all are just kind of the same kind of music. I'd like to ask you go on.
Yeah, I would jump at the opportunity. I mean, like the numbers have to make sense. But yeah, I mean, as long as the numbers make sense, like I'd pack a bag. Like I'm ready to go as far as tours are concerned. Something I've wanted to do for a long time. Something I'm ready to do. Honestly, like part of the goal for this summer is to go on tour. So whatever, like the bigger the scale, the better. But yeah, like I'm. That was part of the thing about like COVID being locked up in the house, was like I had just dropped Benevolent, maybe like a week after everything got shut down, not knowing we're gonna be in our houses for 6 months, thinking we were gonna be in it for like a week maybe. So the timing on that was off. But I never got to do a tour for Benevolent. I've dropped a project since then that I haven't got to perform yet, and I just have like material on material that I know I could get a crowd going, especially if like they had heard the tunes before. But even if they hadn't, people would be like, so like, what I mean? I'm excited about it. But yeah, I want a tour very much so.
Would you? Because I know some artists would do like half of a tour, and some will do like, oh yeah, we'll do the full tour. Do you think you would be like, could you do like what's like an average tour like?
Average tour is probably like 20 shows, 20 to 30 shows,
And like
probably.
what, 25 days?
Yeah.
That would be easy for me.
You could do that?
Yeah, like I mean, again, I've been through like boot camps, hell weeks. Like I'll wake up, do it again. All right, cool, travel, do it again. So,
Well, how does, because like going with sports, it's how to take care of like my arm hurts. For baseball, I gotta ice it. My
Right.
legs hurt. I'm just gonna get some therapy. Like, how do you like keep your vocals like okay like throughout the whole tour? Like, because some people do get like a sore ass throat, and it's like
that's a good question. I've always had at least 3 to 4 days between shows. So I mean, I've heard of like different things that people do as far as like, I mean, warming up your vocal cords is huge, and then there's like vocal cord strengthening exercises you can do to keep them. It's kind of like working an ankle. Like I won't roll it if I get it stronger, type of thing. And then people do strange things like, I don't know, like gargle olive oil and like all kinds of shit. Just keep it like lubricated or pause.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Would you ever be, so if it did go out, would you ever be like the type to do like a like lip sync, or would you be like, I just can't go? Like, are you for lip syncing, or are you against lip syncing?
I have mixed emotions about lip syncing. I think there are definitely parts where you have to have your vocals come through. I also understand like being on stage for an hour straight and giving a crowd an entire show with just your vocals is really difficult. So I think people have figured out ways to do the two. I'm old school as far as like my love for entertainment. So I love what James Brown was doing. I love what Michael Jackson was doing. I love what Chris Brown does. I'm like Usher. Like I want to see a full show. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want people to half-ass anything, and I don't want to be known for being that type of artist. Like not throwing shade, but like Lil Baby came on stage and just like spit his ad-libs. You know what I mean? And I get it. You're doing a huge tour, but people who haven't seen you before and maybe will never see you again kind of want to know what your voice sounds like. I'm sorry, bro. That's like what we came to pay and like what we came here for. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I get that.
I would want to give every people as much of a show as I can. And if it came to the point where I lost my voice, I'm sure I'd have to talk to whatever creatives have been there and experienced that before to see what it is I have to do to like give people a good show. But at the end of the day, I want people to know that I was consistent about giving a show and I was there for them.
So earlier you were talking about how you record all your own beats, do all your own writing. So I got kind of two questions for you. I guess the first one would be, would you ever write for other people? Or have you wrote for other people?
Yeah, I would and have 100%. I just enjoy writing, and like I said, I have hours and hours and hours of songs in the log that some of them I would give to somebody tomorrow if they really wanted it. I really don't have a problem with sharing things, and like, you know, I don't really need credit for every single track.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just the satisfaction of knowing people liked what you did. So
yeah. And then I guess too, like, how do you feel about being independent? Like, you just asked you about Mike, who's one of my favorite artists this past year too.
Yeah.
You know, like how he's like all independent, does everything on his own.
Right.
So like, is that kind of like the wave you want to be on, or would you sign to get put on and then do that, kind of how he did?
So, at the end of the day, I want the rights to all my masters. I want to do, like, as far as my career goes, if I had shown, if my resume was strong enough where somebody be like, hey, over these next 2 years, I want to make money off you and we'll put you on, but like we want da-da-da-da-da, like whatever the numbers worked out to be, I've thought about like, I would consider some type of like mentorship situation with somebody who's part of a label or something like that. I think that could work out cool. But at the end of the day, I want to be completely independent. And there's too many success stories and horror stories for anybody to want to be signed to a label, I feel like, at this point.
So that's a common thing now.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people will make like Tory Lanez, off of recent memory, Tory Lanez, Logic, that they both were in deals and they both just put out mixtapes or albums that weren't even that great just to get out of their deals.
Yeah.
They just wanted to get out.
And
it's
I don't
just
want to
like,
put in that position.
yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't want people to tell me like, oh, you can't put this song out because it's like off brand, but it's like, I am my brand. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, or I envision this project being released in the winter, but like, oh, we can't do anything for you till next summer. Like, that's not a situation I ever want to put myself in. So.
That's the shitty part too, because they do control you at that point.
And too, just if you're like signed to a big label, I'm trying to think like maybe it's either Atlantic or Quality Control, one of those, but they have like all these artists on there, and it's just like you get, say like for example, if like Lil Baby is on your label, but you're like good, but like you have to like wait, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. Like you could have a project completely done, press run, everything released, ready to go.
Yeah.
Then someone like Lil Baby, Gunna, any like artist that's not like a superstar yet, but they're like close, Lil Uzi, like they're gonna get priority, you know? So it's like you're always gonna be in that shadow.
Yep. I mean,
too.
The late great Nipsey Hussle, like somebody I really looked up to, studied, like we're trying to have some black ownership, entrepreneurship. Like it doesn't make sense to be, you know, super like to tie down to that level. I'm just like, nah, it's not really gonna happen. But I mean, on the short term, like 1 year, 2 thing, like I don't know, that'd have to sound right, but that's the only thing I'd be like kind of open to.
Yeah. So you really take inspiration from like Mike, Russ, Larry June, people like that, since they're like just straight independent.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Chance really blew the
Chance
doors
too,
down,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Chance.
But like, yeah, ever since he did his thing, I feel like everybody's like, wait, what? Like I could do that? Like, oh, that's what the check looks like when it's all mine? Like, You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Do you think it's harder?
100% harder. I mean, Chance is a weird story because he still doesn't get radio play, but somehow everybody knows who he is.
Yeah, then he signed like something exclusively with Apple with like the coloring book, isn't it? Like, because people were like,
That sounds about right.
because people were saying like he's like not independent. Like people were saying like he was an industry plan or something like that, but I'm not sure like really the story. But I do know I saw like there was like reports of him signing like $1 million deal with Apple, and that's why it was like all over the coloring book. I mean, that'd be something that you'd have to
I
research.
think I agree with that.
Yeah.
But then like people say Russ was an industry plant.
Yeah, exactly.
Like-
they always say that. I mean, I do think there are certain people that are industry plants. Like I would say like Lil Nas X is for sure one, but like I don't know. It just kind of depends on what you would consider that to be.
So now I have a 2-part question for you.
Key.
Who are your top 5 rappers right now, and who are the top 5 artists you listen to?
Top 5 rappers. Like, what are we saying? Like,
It could be all time or it could be right now. Your choice.
no particular order.
No particular
Yeah, no
order.
particular order.
Lil Wayne, Drake, Kanye, J. Cole, and then now this is a hard one because there's so many that deserve that spot. For me though, based off who I listen to, like number of plays, I'd have to say like Andre,
3 stacks.
3 stacks. Yeah.
Good top 5.
Yeah.
Who are the top 5 you listen to?
It's almost the same exact thing.
Really?
Really?
You don't like float through different genres, or like I listen to them just as much as I listen to like J. Cole?
I mean, I get obsessed with projects. So I listen to somebody's album over and over and over again, and then but I can't like really put their name in the same category. You know what I mean? Like Chance the Rapper's one of those people. Like I listen to Acid Rap, I can't tell you how many times, and 10 Day, but like I don't think he deserves to be in the same category. No offense.
No, I understand that
You know what I mean?
for sure.
And yeah, bro, there's so many people. I grew up I listened to a lot of 50 Cent too. On the new age, I would say Juice is my
Yeah, I was
dude.
about to ask about
I
that.
love Juice.
Me too.
Yeah, and then like what X was doing experimentally and like how he was pushing boundaries, like that was beyond commendable. And like I was listening to a lot of X for a little bit. Who else? But yeah, is there an artist? Ask me about an artist.
Do you like Trippie Redd?
Trippie, mixed emotions about Trippie.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like he found a sound which was dope, and I love his sound. I think he's starting to follow a formula, and I think his latest project, I'm not really the biggest fan of, but he has some tracks where I'm like, that will be considered timeless. Like I'll listen to it when I'm 50 years old, 100%. He has some good records.
I mean, I kind of listen to the same artist as you, so
Yeah.
because my favorite is like J. Cole.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
I get you.
At this point, I think he's my favorite ever because he used to be Tupac, but for me, J. Cole takes the crown.
See, a lot of people in the Bay gonna be mad at me for not saying pop, but it's okay.
Hey, to
Are
each
there
their own, you
3
know.
artists you listen to like outside of hip hop a lot? Like I know you probably predominantly maybe listen to hip hop because based off what you
I mean,
said.
one name I didn't really say is Lauryn Hill. I listen to a lot of Lauryn Hill, and then like completely outside of the realm of hip hop.
Yeah.
That's a hard one. I listen to a lot of hip hop.
Me too.
I listen to Kirk Franklin. That's a random one. And
No alternative sounds? Because like I feel like your music can like.
so off alternative,
Yeah.
I like songs more than I like people. Like,
Okay, got you.
I can't name one alternative album I've listened to from front to back.
Okay.
Which is sad to say, but it's pretty true. MGK's had some dope songs lately.
Yeah.
In all honesty, but anything Travis Barker touches is gold. So
Yeah.
if he's the drummer, Travis Barker, let's throw that out there. Cause that man, I promise, if I could work with Travis Barker, we'd have some bangers. But like,
Yeah.
he has he's fucking magic. Like
Yeah.
Midas, like that shit's cold. But yeah.
Oh yeah. That's dope.
Do you ever listen to chill hop or I guess lo-fi?
I have. Yeah, I like lyrics on it. And there's some artists that are in that realm that I listen to. But yeah, I didn't mention Smino. I listened to a lot of
Smino is cold.
Yeah.
Real cold.
I mean, people out of Atlanta I usually trend to like. I mean, I have Faze listen to a lot of Gucci and OT the Genesis and like Migos and all that. So
My guy
I
from
listened to a lot of Migos for a while too. Yo,
I think everybody did.
everybody.
They're
did,
cold,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah,
Everybody did.
exactly. They're one of those groups.
My guy from Atlanta is
Gunna.
Future.
Future,
I love
Future.
Future and Gunna are like,
Yeah.
bro, he's so toxic though.
Young Thug.
hey,
He is.
Hey.
Everything he says, like,
he's for us. You know
He
what I'm
plays the
saying?
role well. He does play the role well.
He's for us.
Yeah, he plays the role well.
Whenever they did you wrong, hey, own that Future.
that's true. He
Yeah.
he created a character for himself.
Exactly.
He has to
He's the
live it.
villain and like he embraces it and like I mean
Yeah.
it's his thing.
Did you hear his last
What
song?
about the kids, bro? No, I'm joking.
Man,
Did you hear his last song?
Which one?
it's called like Worst Day.
Worst
it's like
Day.
it's about Valentine's Day.
That's toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually it's so toxic it's comical.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
funny.
funny.
See, it's
Yeah.
what we live in.
Because the hook is like,
Sad.
Valentine's Day is the worst day for me because it got too mean to please.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know you're gonna get mad at me for saying this. I think Drake's one of the best artists of this generation.
He is,
For
for sure.
me, he's probably the best artist of the generation, but he's not the best rapper
Best
of
would
this
agree.
generation.
Best rapper. I get you.
Because for me personally, rap wise, I would have to throw a top 4 because I couldn't throw a top 3. But J. Cole, Kendrick, Gunna,
How do you?
Gunna,
Okay, no.
and Thug.
Kendrick made it easy to forget about Kendrick. It's
'Cause
not
he
like-
Because he doesn't make
music.
music.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I feel bad for not mentioning Kendrick because he's but like at the same
But
time, it's like
he has
when's
that
the last time I-
effect, you know. Like
Yeah.
he'll drop a song and you'll feel it. You'll be like, "Damn,
Yeah.
he's right here.
Yeah.
Like he's still here. Like,
Exactly.
don't forget about me."
Also, Childish Gambino.
Yeah,
Gambino's
growing
nice,
up.
but
Oh,
growing up
because
for
of the
sure.
internet,
Yeah.
that
project was wild.
yes.
Not even just as a musician, as an artist as a whole.
Yeah.
Like
Just
he's
as a
so slept.
creative.
He's slept on.
I never watched it, but his show Atlanta, like I heard that was
Fire.
fire.
It's one of-
I know
you
he's a
should-
fire
so good.
comedian.
You should watch it
So good.
soon.
I know he's a fire comedian.
yeah.
Well, not only that, he signed a deal with Amazon to produce like 5 exclusive Amazon movies or whatever, like produce and direct or something like that.
He's one of those people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Just
He's
like Jamie Foxx. Like,
Catalyst.
Jamie
Yeah.
Foxx is like
do it
that.
all. Do it all.
Do you like Jack Harlow?
I do.
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
too. I think he had one of the best like debut albums ever.
I feel you.
That is so fire. He's like super smooth. Like
Yeah, but he rubs me as like the product of Drake.
I do. Yeah,
Yeah,
he definitely gives off that like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he for sure.
But he does it well.
He has that
And, like,
formula.
I love the fact that like you could watch his like old videos like down in the hallways in middle school,
Yeah.
high school, and like see how far he came. So for that, I applaud him because he put work. He put work in.
Yeah,
But yeah, he could put out a track for sure.
yeah, he makes good music, real good music.
I don't really listen to him like that. I've gotten bad recently of like, because I still haven't heard Corday's new album. That came out a minute ago, and I still haven't heard
Like
it.
a month ago.
And that got flowers too. That everybody loves that project.
I love Corday. Corday's nice.
Yeah, so I've listened to tracks on it, not the whole thing for that. And then also the other person who I feel the same way about is Tyler, the Creator. Like, he can put out a good project, song, but I haven't really given it as much time as I feel like I should have. I saw him as Tyler, the Creator. I saw it South by Southwest. And he was one of the best live performers I've seen in a long time. Like, spit his own lyrics, sang all the shit from the heart. Like,
He's cold.
He was over here using this prop, over here using that prop. Like, yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was a good show.
Who were some of your biggest inspirations?
A lot of the people I already named.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess like outside of music, like you have any inspirations outside of music?
outside of music. I kind of said Kobe, his mentality. I think, honestly, Steph Curry, because I feel like my approach to music is very similar to his in that just off looks and all that, no one would expect to see like numbers or stats or see anything from me The same way, his athletic build, nobody expects to see anything from him.
Babyface assassin.
Exactly. But what he was able to do by just spending time in the gym speaks for itself. And so I think I'm taking the same approach to music. And so he's one of my great inspirations because, like, if you just watch an interview of him, like, because I write music daily, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could go 5, 6 days without writing a song that I even remotely like. And so when that happens, I'll go back, listen to a Steph Curry interview talking about shooting slumps. And, like, that'll get me out of my fog. Like, whether or not I like the song the next day, I'm well aware of the fact, like, hey, yo, it happens, but you know you can make great music, so why second guess yourself? If you know it's a shot you can make, take the shot every time. So him, Michael Jordan. I watch a lot of NBA, so that's like those are.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm glad you brought up Steph Curry. He is one of the few people I know that is a Golden State fan from like the beginning. This man was going to the games when they were ass.
Yeah.
Jason Richardson, Monte Ellis,
Baron Davis.
Squad, We Believe season, that was crazy. I was in the building at Oracle. Yeah, it was good times. And so my uncle used to work for the Warriors.
Okay.
So we had season tickets when nobody wanted to see him.
Yeah.
And so, to see where we're at now, it's like being a Bulls fan back in the 90s, but it's a ride.
Might win again this year.
Hey, fingers crossed. Like, I don't know.
Might win again this year.
We're looking spooky. We're looking dangerous. My boy put up 50 in the All-Star game last
Yeah,
night.
he wasn't missing. He made 16 threes, bro.
Oof.
Crazy.
Scary. And when he comes back with that confidence, too, that he's carrying, with Clay back, with Dre back, watch out.
Hey, Wiggins, yeah. I got a little squad.
Ooh.
It's gonna be nice.
Yeah.
I think that'll pretty much wrap it up for me. Do you have any questions for us?
Bro, so I feel like you, off screen, we kind of talked about the fact that you guys are coming up with, like, and, like, growing it.
Yeah.
I guess I would ask, like, what's the overall vision for where you're taking what you're doing?
Basically, I guess we started it off as a podcast, if people don't know, but as we've kind of, went through the last couple of years, there's just more to it that we want to do, especially the people we've met, like people like you, people like our friends in Phoenix, people here. We definitely think we can do more to it than have podcasts, and like having CJ, shout out Park Car Talks, just having like all these umbrellas of content for people to watch, because we don't want to be put in a box. Like, we don't want to be called Opinionated Podcast, but then want to go shoot like a challenge or like a vlog or like do game shows or anything of that nature, and then it's like breaking what the name is. So if we change the name, everything still fits under it and we can still do everything,
right?
But it gives us way more freedom, and I think that's kind of like the vision me and him both see, and Albert see for it. So
to piggyback off him, before this whole thing even started, I told him like that was kind of like my overall goal that I like wanted, was just like to do something of that, like in a medium realm type thing, and to like see it now come to fruition and seeing it like it's there for us to grab. It's nice, it's dope, and it's exciting, and also scary at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it's dope to see how far you've already come, like all the things that you're doing. I was telling you guys I'm proud of y'all. Last question would be, how many hours a week do y'all actually spend like watching sports or like looking at stats or like sports shows or anything like that?
Man, I'll let him go first.
Me, not so much. I kind of ever since I went to go work for Vivint, I kind of fell off watching sports, and then COVID happened, and sports didn't seem like the same to me. And like that year, just like I was like, I don't know, it just felt different.
The bubble year and everything.
Yeah, the bubble year, the MLB like World Series, the Dodgers are only playing 60 games, and like if there's not enough players, you got to cancel the game, like stuff like that. I was like, the rescheduling with the NFL, it's like, I don't know, it kind of like pushed me away. But I'm slowly but surely, now that I have like a set schedule for work and everything, it's a lot easier for me to watch sports. But I open my ESPN app and like read headlines, look at scores. The biggest thing that gets me into sports is college baseball. I'm a big college baseball guy.
Got you.
Season just started this past weekend. So Texas played, they swept, they're ranked #1 in the country, and like always keep up with them. And then I always just see what everybody else is doing. So like that's a big thing that I keep up with, and that just kind of gets me into sports. Another big sport that another sport that I'm like big on now is like F1, Formula One. Their new season's about to start. They're having brand new cars, some brand new drivers on different teams, so it's exciting. I love going to the races. Well, I've only been to one, but like I went to the races past season at Coda, and it's just I want to go again. So it's like I keep up with that sport now, but I fell off a lot, but I'm getting to the point where I'm back to where I was at.
Right.
And that's even like for me, like I appreciate all the sports, kind of like how Carlos was saying, and just even like I'm trying to get into hockey. Like I'm trying to watch everything for the most part, or at least keep up with it, because I mean, I just appreciate greatness. Like just because someone doesn't watch a sport doesn't mean it's not good, you know. So I try to keep up and educate myself on other sports. And then normally, like I work from home a lot, and then or if I'm in the office, I turn on Fox, so I'll listen to like Undisputed or like Colin Cowherd, The Herd, and I just will listen to that. And since they show it every day, I get a lot of my news from them, and then I just formulate my own opinions on it. Because a lot of the times, all three of those people, Skip, Shannon, and Colin, all have very different opinions. And a lot of times I agree with them, a lot of times I don't. But it's just nice to have that informative information. And for me, they just do it better, because ESPN, ESPN is like too commercialized for me. Like Fox, like Skip and Shannon really have like their own opinions, and like they're just straight up. Colin is like probably like some of the most off the wall opinions, but I also like him so much because he acknowledges every time when he's wrong, or like he'll do stuff on his show that is very like unique. Like one time he like had the quarterbacks, and he did like Tinder with the quarterbacks, like slight rights. Like he does stuff like that other sports shows don't do. So, and he has guests that these other shows don't do. So that's why I like him too. So I kind of keep it with them. And then just, like he said, keep it with the scores and stuff like that. And we always keep it with like kind of pop culture. Like we'll do like the Let's Make It Quicks and stuff like that for like shorter content that's maybe not really sports related, maybe like video game or maybe music or something like that, to kind of, you know, broaden our audience, stuff like that. So
True.
That's kind of like, at least from our knowledge.
For the hours part though, it's an everyday thing. It's honestly because we'll text each other like, we should do this, we should do this. Let's make an LMIQ tomorrow. It's gonna be about this topic. We need to make an LMIQ today. It's gonna be about this topic. Stuff like that. So just for us, same as you, it's an everyday thing. We might not be recording, but it's at least getting talked about with an idea or something that's gonna happen or something that's gonna we have to do.
In the last 2 years too, like honestly, like there was a lot of, you know, we just had a lot of conflicts and stuff. So what I've had to learn is like, for example, like Albert, he's always using the camera, or he's editing, or he's learning something. Like that's a lot of stuff we didn't do, and it needs to get to the point where we kind of got to record every day, or at least something, or like edit every day, because so much stuff happens and we just miss opportunities, you know. Kind of like how when it comes to like when you were talking about writing and recording and stuff like that, I was just like, we just got to do it too, reps. Like, I mean, it doesn't take long for us to set up a camera and record a 5 to 10 minute video. Like if we're doing that and we're ahead of the game, then that's how we're going to get to where we want to be. So we got to like kind of get in that mindset now. Now we've been consistent for 2 months, and now it's like we're trying to ramp up, try to post more and all that.
I don't think it was necessarily conflict. I think it was just lack of communication.
Well, yeah, that too. That lack of communication. And then we were also just too, like, we were all trying to become friends, like, again.
And to clarify too, like, even when I don't use the camera or edit, like, I found hobbies that still help me become creative. So like, I love watching anime.
Yeah.
And like, anime has actually inspired some of my like cuts that I make. Yeah. And not only that, like just watching movies. And so like, when I don't want to stare at a screen, as far as like being up close, and I just want to like kick back, I'm still watching something to help.
Yeah.
Like,
studying film.
Me too.
Exactly. Studying film.
Like I watch like The Simpsons a lot, and I watch like adult cartoons a lot, and then I watch like surfing, any like outdoor board sports. That's kind of like how, at least for me, I get my creativity from. I don't know really where you get yours from, I guess.
To be honest, I've always just been a creative person. Like I've always just been able to
just like this. No.
Yeah, I've always just been able to just think of different ideas or different ways to go about it. If it's a problem, I'm able to like look at it and like help you solve it. If it's like, I don't know, I used to be a plumber. Like I would be able to like, oh, this is going this way. We got to get this to go this way. I'm like, oh, why don't we just do this, this, and this? Just a problem solver and just a visionist, and that's kind of where I've always, I don't know, I feel like I've just always been like a visionist, a creative person.
Gotcha.
And then one of my biggest inspiration is his name is Hex. He's a owner of Optic Gaming, which is a gaming organization. But just kind of what he does, I do piggyback off him a lot, but with our own twist. So a lot of that creativity comes from that too, which I'm not afraid to admit either, because nothing that you do today is going to be natural. Like, everybody's piggybacking off of somebody. So,
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. I get that. Word.
Mm.
Fine.
do you have anything else?
Nah, just thank you again, honestly, just for everything. Like, it means a lot too, to especially put stuff full circle. Like, I mean, people don't know, just like behind the scenes, you helped us a lot, you know, even just coming up with logo ideas, drawing something for us real quick.
We still have that one you made.
Yeah, and I honestly, like,
We still have
so
it.
like we got that sent, like, short story, we got that sent off to get made into a logo, and it came back. Like, Carl's had really curly hair at the time, so I was like, make Carl's hair curly. I wear a lot of hats, and then I was like, give me a hat. So that was kind of like what we were doing, like, logo wise. Yeah. Carl's and Albert really don't like it, but I think there's something sentimental to me about it. Like, I think, because, like, regardless of what they think, the fans or, like, the audience, I think we could do something with it, like make it a sticker, like something cool, you know?
Right.
Like, it'd be something like, what is this? Like, oh, it's the OG, like,
No,
like one of one logo. Like, we only got like 20 stickers made. You got one. Like, I don't know.
Right.
Like, to me, I've always been a creative person too, but I'm in my own vision. Like, I'm gonna be like, yeah, like, you can do something with something, no matter what. Like,
Yeah, make it work.
just because you don't think it, like, that doesn't mean it's a failure. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So
Everyone's got their
yeah,
thing.
exactly. So I was like, I mean, I don't know. People think stuff like that's cool. So
Word.
I actually have one last question for you, David.
Yeah, what's
or
going on?
Kuna. As someone who is either finding their passion in something creative, what is something that you wish someone would have told you to start doing from the jump, that you're like, you know what, this helped me grow as a creative?
So I think one thing that I learned from this book, it's called The Artist's Way. It was recommended by J. Cole in an interview, and I wish I had either seen that interview first or found it before J. Cole did. It was just talking about how, like, especially for creatives, a lot of things that we don't really birth or, like, feed into are things that our filter is stopping us from creating. So, like, there's a part of your mind that tells you something's not good enough before you're even finished completing what it is, and a lot of what you're creating isn't even for you. So just finish it, and there will be value in finishing it, first of all, and second of all, you don't know what it's going to mean to you down the road. So stop, I guess, aborting things before they come to term. And then secondly, like, a good way to realize what's your filter and what is your true voice is to write morning pages. So the Creative Way was talking about how we, as creatives, keep ourselves from actually finishing things, and you can actually recognize what part of it, what part of your brain is creating, and what part of your brain is telling you that's not good enough. And in the morning, that filter wakes up 20 minutes after you do. So if you wake up and you write, this is a practice I still do to this day, is you just journal, and then as you're journaling, your first few thoughts will just be like pure. You'll just be writing things like as they come to your head. It's almost like you're daydreaming still. And then as that thing starts to wake up, you'll start to think about what it is that you should write, and it will just give you a peek into I guess your own head, and like what you can do with creative freedom versus limiting yourself with your own, I guess, criticism. That's something I would have thought, hoped to learn earlier.
a lot of that reminds me of do you know who Rick Rubin is?
I do.
Yeah, like, I follow him on Instagram, and he posts quotes just like that every single day. Like, one post, he'll leave it up for 24 hours, and then he'll archive it or delete it, and he'll post another one. I've been sending them in a group message. You haven't had social media, but I send them to Albert now individually. Like, I sent him one today about, like, editing. It was like, you edit something and it has 5 mistakes, and you think it's not perfect. And then you see another edit and has 8 mistakes. It's perfect. So it's like that's exactly like what it is. You know, like it's always gonna not be up to your standard, but sometimes you just gotta let it fly out there and just see. That's what art is.
Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
so
that part. But
yeah.
Can we expect anything soon?
Working on a project. So the past 2 months I've been writing. March will be all about mixing, mastering, all that type of good things. And then April 2022, I think I know the name of the project, but I don't want to say it until I'm absolutely sure about it. But yeah, April of this year, I'll have another at least 8-song project coming out. All summer shows, all year shows. So that's probably the biggest thing I'm focused on this year is creating a true fan base.
Yeah, following.
Will, like we can meet in person and like meet and greet. And now that we're out, like free from our houses, we can go do some things. So let's do some things. You know what I mean?
For you. I guess in the description down below we'll put just Kuna Lakai, and y'all can go search him up on Apple and Spotify. Instagram's a little tricky right now. We got
we'll get back.
We got some technical difficulties on Instagram right now, but his name will definitely be down below in the description.
Find me on MySpace.
Yeah, find him on MySpace. Y'all can go search him up, listen to his music. Like I said, my favorite song is Pierre by him. Yours is?
I'm not sure. I mean, he has a lot of stuff. It just kind of depends on the mood. Mm-hmm. I don't really, with any artist, I really don't have a favorite song because I mean, music is very like ebb and flow. It's like what you feel.
Dior, that video is so hard.
So,
yeah. But check him out. Check out his YouTube videos. Give my boy a follow. Again, appreciate you for coming on. It's been long overdue, and tell you what, this won't be the only time you'll be on. After this year, after you go on tour, we'll have you back on, talk about the tour life. You know what I'm saying?
Blessed to be here. I'm excited for that conversation because
that'll be cool.
We'll have a whole bottle of champagne.
Exactly.
Right here.
Hopefully in another spot too, maybe. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Future's excited for the both of us. Future's excited for both of us. But that'll do it for your boys over here at Opinionated, and we'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.
Add me on that, let me on in. Take all my cash and put it on 10. Fill up my tank and pull up my rank. I'm pulling up fast, my cup to the brim. Then over pour, I'm pouring it out. Heaven still rain when we in a drought. I'm about my action, I'm in attraction. Going upstream, I swim with the trout. People on fishy, she acting pissy.